Now I thought I'd do a video on my bike, or my my ornament at the moment. That's all it is, because the road down our dirt road is so bad that it really isn't worth risking going down there. And so I'll just have a look at it and start it. This particular bike has GPS, and apparently it's non-stop going, so it continues to draw a tiny bit of power. But if I just leave the bike and don't ever start it, which is a bad thing anyway, it will eventually flatten the battery. So that's what I'm going to do here. What I should do is show you the bike. I haven't really done much of a look at the bike. There are so many people actually about this bike. This is the R15M, and it's quite an advanced bike for me. On my experience of bikes since I first started, I started on what some of the old people who are looking at this too. I started on a 650 Gold Flash, an old BSA. Now, of course, it wasn't old then, and it was quite advanced for them. You know, back in the, oh my God, in 1900 and frozen to death, I think. So I thought I'd look at this bike, because compared to what I was used to, compared to what I rode on first, I've since had other bikes. I had a Kawasaki dirt bike, and plus I had, hardly counts really, but I had a Racal, which was a Chinese bike, total here. We were very happy with that bike actually, but it was a difficult bike to ride in the circumstances that we had. When I said I was going to get a bike again, some people said, well, you should get a dirt bike, you know, because of the terrain that you're going through. But the amount of dirt riding or dirt biking that I do is really minimal. It's only 2 miles down to the highway, and once on the highway, then it's a good tarmac road. Well, not tarmac, it's a cement road. So I wouldn't get a dirt bike again. One of the reasons I wouldn't get a dirt bike is it's easy to reach a situation where you have to drop it, because the dirt bike, I was on tiptoes, right? The motor is high, obviously, because it's a dirt bike and for going over rough ground. So they put the motor high. That makes the center of gravity very high, and so you can't actually go above. You can't go past a certain angle before. If you go past an angle like this, go past about that, and it's actually hard to hold the bike up. You have to drop it. I really don't want to be in a position where I would drop, even lay this bike down, because it's stuff on there, which I'll show you, which are they're going to get damaged, and I really wouldn't want to do that. The wing mirrors, and also the indicators are sticking out, and so there would be damage. I wouldn't want that. So I'll turn over now onto the other side, which I have to switch off for. Okay, so looking at the bike now complete. For me, it's a really beautiful bike. I've since discovered that there is one upgrade that would be very good. When I watched a particular guy, I think he was Indian, a very, very good animated, entertaining reviewer, and also a very good biker, an expert rider, and he did an excellent review on the bike, and one of the things he mentioned was that it would be a good upgrade to put a radial tyre on the front. Now, since then, I checked with my friend Val in Florida, and Val is the husband of an artist friend of mine, Carey, and Carey and Val were friends for a long time when I was in Florida, because Carey was and still is a very good artist. Worked in Disney, did some really excellent work. She might actually be on the internet. Not quite sure, but it would be Carey de Valentine. All right, so you can look it up. A lovely lady and a great artist. But anyway, Val said, well, wait a minute, you can't just put a radial on the front. He never mentioned, my reviewer never mentioned the back, so I would have to check and make sure that if I changed the front, I'd have to change the back as well, because mixing radial and a conventional tyre would not be a good idea. You get some peculiar handlings. But anyway, this is a beautiful. It's a beautiful bike. I love it just for the way it looks. I keep seeing some little dings and dongs. I hadn't seen that before, but this happens. I did notice a little thing that I was disappointed about, was that this decorative strip here is, I thought that was paint, and it's not. As you can see, it's actually tape. So I've been back to the store and I've asked them, can you get me some more tape? Probably comes in a roll, and enough to do, well, I would think enough to do more than one strip on the bike. So that's one little disappointment. I was disappointed about that. Now when I really started, when I went and sat on this bike at first, I mean, even though I loved it, I'm realistic about a couple of things. My age, physical condition. I considered that I would have to be stronger. So I did start to eat better, lost a little weight. There's another little ding. Look, I don't know where that came from. I don't know how it happened. I'm assuming that these things here are from sitting astride the bike. So here I am, getting on the bike, if I can get my leg over, if you'll pardon the expression. See, so this is quite a big tank to have between you and the handlebars. And the handlebars are what I know as clip-ons. Instead of being a bar that goes right across, they're actually clipped on, and it's a different feel. It's a more aggressive stance or seated position. And this is so much more advanced to what I was used to. Even this looks like something that you would see on an aircraft. Actually looks like it's been pressed down too much, or maybe. See, I haven't really had time to do too much riding, so this has been a disappointment for me. The road down really is a bad road. That 2 miles really is, and because we're on the edge of typhoons, several apparently. Let me get off again. So we've been on the edge of several typhoons, and even though we haven't suffered at all, we've had a ton of rain. So as I said, you know, for me, where I'm at experience-wise, for me the bike is a flying machine. It's actually only 150. Now the thing is that what the manufacturers have done is they've taken they've taken a body frame, all of this, all looks, and you can actually get a 350. I discovered after I bought this, I discovered that there's a 350. And probably I might have gone for that had I had the choice. It was more expensive than this, but of course the trap about getting something on finance is that you think, well, what's the difference between 1 and 2 or 3 or 4, and on it goes. But this is actually better for me. But as I said, they get this big frame. It looks like it should take a 650, and probably would, motor wise. So cc rating, cubic capacity, would be 350, and the bike looks the same as this, the one that takes a 350 motor, but of course this is 150. So in doing this now, so that it looks like a racing bike to me, to my eye, my inexperienced eye, and so this would attract the younger guys who shouldn't be on a 650 or a 1000cc, or don't need to. And here in the Philippines especially, they don't need to. They can make do with a 150, and this is a 150. It's very fast. This will do 100 and, I believe top speed for this is 140 kilometers an hour, but not with me on it. I know my limits. Actually, my normal speed with this on near empty roads, by the way, because we're in the province, and on near empty roads, my speed boodling along is about 60k. And then if the road is really empty and straight, which it is between here and Talabon, I will up that to maybe 80. I don't think I've ever been to 100. But on that road you could, if you were slightly insane, you could, because one of the drawbacks of Philippine roads, as empty as they are, is that they can be fraught with hazards which you normally would never encounter on roads. Stray dogs are one thing. So stray dogs, of which there are many stray dogs, and let me see, the occasional piglet running free. Cows often are often tethered by the side of the road. So the occasional cow, occasional carabao are left. So there are other things to consider than just the going fast. So I love it. I really love it. It's a beautiful bike. I'm so very, very happy with it. But of course, it would be nice if I could actually drive it as well, or ride it. This has ABS brakes, which is an amazing thing for me, from an old born-again biker. It has quick shifter, which I yet have to learn the joys of a quick shifter. We have traction control. I have yet to find out exactly how traction control works, but I considered that it would be a big thing for me on the roads that we travel between, say, here and Hatafi and here and Talabon, because don't forget that we live in the mountains, and the road between here and Hatafi has, on the right, when you're going into Talabon, you're looking at the high ground is on the right hand side, so the drain off is onto the road. And very often when we've had really bad weather, which we've been having very recently, we've had all of the rain associated with typhoons. Even though we're on the edge of the typhoon rather than going through it again, they've been having very, very bad flooding, and I think a loss of life even up past Manila into Luzon, not quite sure where. So you can easily get all of the gravel and sand which is drained down and has to be cleared off the road by the city, and is. So that's my bike. And thanks for being with me. As I say, I'm not doing a review. There are people who are very expert at bikes doing reviews about this bike. This is the Yamaha R15M. It has the quick shifter, traction control and ABS brakes. Beautiful bike. It's only a 150, but it looks it looks a lot more powerful, which is fine for me. Bye for now.